My name is Lynn Corbel. Hi, Alvin. And I serve as the Assistant Director of MBSR Teacher Education and Curriculum Development here at Brown University School of Professional Studies. I've had the great good fortune to be training MBSR teachers for 12 years. It's kind of amazing. And I can say that in those 12 years, the field has grown exponentially, and it's really wonderful and exciting to meet and get to know the next generation of MBSR teachers. This is specifically an introductory, an information session for people who have, for the teacher training, and I know that some of you likely have already taken MBSR, which is the first step of teacher training, and I know some of you may not have taken MBSR, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So I'd invite us all to begin to arrive. You've set aside this time. I often say nobody gets into these rooms, whether physical rooms or Zoom rooms, nobody gets into here casually. It took time and energy and a purposefulness to be here. And by starting with some practice, we actually can honor that and really invite ourselves in, welcoming ourselves. So if you care to just taking a stretch or two, I don't know about you, but I've been sitting in front of my computer for a while, just moving in a way that your body needs. You're welcome to stand or move from your chair. This is one of my favorites, to take hold of my desk and move my chair back and just give my spine a good stretch. If you haven't explored that, you might try it out. And then bringing the body to stillness and taking a position, a shape that allows you to feel both steady and upright and at ease. You're welcome to allow the eyes to lower or close. I'm feeling the body landing in the body right now. Sensing into where the body makes contact with whatever surface it's resting on. So the feet on the floor, the hips and legs and back on the chair. As you do this, you might experience a sudden weightedness, like the weight falls into the body sometimes as we really attend. You might just see what happens for you. Breath coming and going. Feeling into the dimension of length in the body from the soles of the feet all the way to the crown of the head. And awake to sensations from the back and the front of the body. This dimensionality. And from side to side, from one shoulder to the other, from one ankle to the other, sensing the volume and the space that the body takes up. This wide welcome from yourself to yourself, which includes the mind and all the thoughts that may be there right now. Not needing to change the way the mind is working. It might be busy, might be quiet, might be a sense of anticipation, just being present, allowing the mind to be as it is, welcoming. And any emotions that might be here might be traveling with thoughts, excitement, anticipation, contentment. Or maybe something a little more bubbly or a little more challenging. Again, welcoming. The body is always in the present moment, so the body in its entirety can be an anchor to the present moment. I feel like one possibility is we sit for a lot longer than we're going to. We're going to shift here in a moment, but just appreciating this capacity to touch in, to feel into your own presence. And then as you're ready, gently allowing the eyes to open, maybe looking around your space, orienting to where you're located. And then allowing your eyes to meet those who are also here. Maybe many perhaps for the same reason. Welcome again. So how many of you, and I realize a lot of you are not on camera. Thank you for coming on camera. If you're able to show yourself, it's easier to respond to questions. Great, thank you. And I recognize it's not always possible. Actually, I'm just going to share the screen for a moment. I've got a brief slides here, and you will receive these slides afterwards, so you don't need to take notes. So just in general, we have 3 short courses. We call them short courses. So we offer the 8-week MBSR class, the 8-week MBCT class, and the Finding Peace in a Frantic World introductory program. I'll say that as part of the teacher training, the MBSR, the 8-week MBSR class is a requirement. So I know some of you may have already taken that class. And then, so all of our programs currently are offered live online, all our training programs and MBSR and MBCT. To reach the qualified level 1 MBSR teacher takes approximately 9 to 12 months, and that allows you to begin teaching. The shortest amount of time it takes to do the complete certification is about 3 years. Hardly anybody goes through to certification in that short a time. Most people take their time to do this, but are usually up and teaching somewhere between 9 and 18 months. And the requirements for the teacher training is that you've taken 8-week MBSR, that you've taken a qualifying silent retreat, that you have an average of 2+ years of daily meditation practice, at least a year. And I'll speak more about what a daily meditation practice looks like. And we partner at the School of Professional Studies, we partner with the Mindfulness Center at Brown and the School of Public Health. MBSR, the short courses are taught 4 times a year, and the foundations course, which is the first formal course of the teacher training, is also taught 4 times a year. This is I think a really helpful graphic that is just about getting you to qualified level 1. So here's your prerequisites, the retreat, the practice. Here's your MBSR foundations course, which is 10 weeks. And it encompasses both the foundations seminar, which is a 3.5-hour course, and a an MBSR class that's paired with that foundations. So you take MBSR as a standalone, and then you enter the foundations and you're taking another MBSR class that's being taught by your foundations teacher as well. There's a minimum requirement of 3 months between these two formal trainings. In that span of time, you're deepening your own practice, you're completing another retreat requirement, and you teach a minimum of 3 introductory programs. I always say that really minimum, as every successful MBSR teacher I know continues to teach introductory programs in a number of venues, and this really is an important aspect of teaching. You then take the Teacher Advancement Intensive, which is a three-day module experience. It's all online. And there's usually a week or 2 between sessions A, B, and C. We say that MBSR Foundations is not a training to teach the 8-week program. It really sets you up to teach these introductory programs. And the Teacher Advancement Intensive is a training to teach the 8-week program. Neither of these trainings are recorded. So your presence, you're not missing a class. That's a really important aspect of these trainings. The Teacher Advancement Intensive, you're doing a lot of teachbacks, you're teaching elements and guiding practices as part of the 8-week program with your colleagues. So it's important because a lot of people assume with so much online training that these are recorded and you can pop into them at any time, and that's not. These are much more like in real life sorts of trainings. And with successful completion of the Teacher Advancement Intensive, you come out as a qualified level 1 MBSR teacher. We've also incorporated here in the MBSR Foundations much more. We've really strengthened some of the aspects in Foundations so that you actually come out of this Foundations with a mindfulness facilitation Credly badge. So that's an additional aspect that we've added just with January 2025. Here's the full length to get to certification. So between level 1 and level 2, there you're teaching and you're engaging in the mentoring programs. Curriculum study group, which is a 10-week program. Individual mentoring, when you're actually teaching an 8-week program, you're filming yourself teaching, and you're meeting with a mentor weekly through that process. And then there are these other classes that you can take at any point along the certification pathway: dialogue and inquiry, and the ethos of mindfulness-based programs. There are 2 other retreats that are required sometime before teacher certification. So while there is a laid out sequence between MBSR Foundations, Teacher Advancement Intensive, Curriculum Study Group, and individual mentoring, dialogue and inquiry and ethos can happen anywhere after Foundations. Dialogue and inquiry, you also need to have completed at least a few of your introductory programs. It's helpful to have been engaging with people that way. And so these are the ways to connect with us. And as I said, Jonathan will be sending this out after our program. So let me stop the share. And really, our time is open to questions. I've got some other things that I can share screen with from our website, but especially for those of you who've already taken MBSR and are getting ready to enter Foundations, I'd like to start if there are any questions that you all might have. And then with maybe in about 20 minutes, we'll see where we're at and we can engage with those who haven't yet taken the 8-week program. What brings you here today? Something got you here on the call.
I can unmute myself and break the ice a little bit. Hi, I'm Tony. I'm over at UC Irvine in California.
Great.
So I for the foundations, can you talk a little bit about the format for that? And I'm not sure. I was on the website earlier. I wasn't sure if there was a date yet that had been picked out. So just wondering what the format is for the foundations, if there's a date that's been picked out or maybe a time period. And then
Yeah.
also another more sort of nitty-gritty question is because I'll be using my professional development monies. And so just curious, I hope to do the full training, but curious because I've heard that it can take others like 5 years, maybe longer to get through. How does the payment process? Is it we pay for the foundations and then, how does that work?
Yeah, course by course, Tony.
Okay.
And I'm gonna share the screen and go to our website and walk you through. So if you go to certificates and come down to mindfulness-based stress reduction, go to the curriculum and come down here to MBSR foundations. So are you thinking of signing up for the spring?
I hope to, yes. If the schedule works, and I'm on Pacific time, and so
Right.
I just wondering if what the schedule looks like.
So all of the times and dates are here. They're all, you just have to touch the available and it will open up.
That's where it is. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I know yeah, it can be challenging just to navigate this website. That's why I wanted to go here and show you. So we have a Monday evening class, so that'll be a little earlier for you, but all of the times are Eastern Standard Times. So this has your MBSR foundations, the time for the MBSR class. So you've got Monday is the MBSR class. Foundations is Wednesday night. And then if I go all the way, and so all of the dates for your all-day session, all of them are here. And then as you click on here this is Tuesday morning foundations. That would be very early for you, but I have to say I often will have people in that class because they can start it at 6 and then go to work. If they don't have to take a ton of time off of work. So and then I'm teaching that in the Wednesday foundation. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we also have this is a Friday, an all-day class. So you've got the MBSR in the morning and the foundations is in the afternoon. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm glad we went there and navigated so you could see how to get there. And yes, each tuition for each program is discrete. We also will, and it's great that if you can get your, if it makes sense for your employer to pay, this also happens. Even like people who are working in a law firm and their employers are paying for them, and then they'll be able to offer introductory programs after foundations. I think it's just important to say that you won't be offering 8-week MBSR classes right away until after the TAI. But and Jonathan can work with people who need to pay upfront or ahead of time, so you can work that out.
Thank you. And my last follow-up question is I tried to enroll in some other courses here through the UC system in California, and they were getting canceled because they didn't have enough enrollment. Does Brown follow the same, or do you think that it will definitely happen?
We have not canceled a foundations class in like over a year, in
Oh,
2 years.
great. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
And the
you.
foundations course, so I'll just say the foundations course is small. It's a maximum of 12 people. So it's like a graduate seminar. And you engage with the MBSR class. So that class is like 30, 35, 30, 36 maybe. And you're taking the class again. You're practicing along with people. You're not observing, you are observing. You're watching what the teacher does. Why did you say that to this person? And last week you said like what seems like the complete opposite. And then in your foundation seminar, you unpack that, and you're also practicing, and you also have some opportunities to guide practice to prepare for the intro programs. And we use the Novo Ed learning platform. There are readings. There's a few books that we ask you to get, but most of the readings and articles we supply for you. And then there's discussion posts. So it's really like a graduate level work. Yeah. Thank you, Tony.
Can I ask a question as well?
Please.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm Naz. I'm trying to determine whether it's the right next step for me. I just graduated from Jack Kornfield's and Tara Brach's 2-year mindfulness meditation teacher certification. So, and I'm sort of setting a direction for my teaching practice and primarily focusing on recovery communities. And I'm talking about process addictions rather than substance addictions and trauma-informed meditation practices. So I've been looking at the MBSR program for a while. And I think once you start teaching, you realize there's always more to learn. And that's something that I want to kind of just really invest in right now to set the foundation, like for whatever I'm going to do in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Naz,
yeah.
thank you. And I think you answered, because my question was like, so you just finished this program with Tara and Jack, and like, so why MBSR now? Like, what's that for?
Yeah, and I think it's primarily because Tara's and Jack's program is sort of it's a secular program, but you do delve into a lot of Buddhist traditions and teachings. So it could be a te secular teaching, or it could be a non-secular teaching, for
Yeah,
example. And I think my goal is to bring it down to make this practice more tangible and more impactful as much as I can. And both of the recovery communities and the trauma-informed meditation are very personal and important to me. So, and I think that, but I also dwell and work in a corporate world. So kind of just sort of making those two marry and then just strengthening my own practice. And stress is obviously like in both of those communities, stress plays major role
yeah.
in why people, in engage in those kind of harmful behaviors.
So what I can say is that the MBSR teacher training, have you taken MBSR?
I think I might have taken maybe one class. I'm not completely not familiar with this, but I haven't looked very deeply into it yet.
So taking the 8-week program is such an essential part because then you know it from the inside out. And then you're like, if you're going to teach this, you should know it. You should really know it well. And, sometimes people take it and they think they're going to go on to the teacher training and they take the 8-week class and they're like, oh no, I don't really resonate with this. For whatever reason. And then others are like, I don't know about this. And they do it and they're like, this is a clear path. And so it's very focused on MBSR, which draws from the Buddhist underpinnings for sure. And in the ethos class, we really go more into that, but it doesn't show up in the class itself in the same way. It's this, John Kabat-Zinn speaks about the recontextualization of the Dharma. How do we talk about this in terms that anybody can understand? Anybody, in his brilliance, he called it stress, not dukkha, not even suffering, because suffering is like the really bad stuff. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, when you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and then you burn your toast and, all that kind of stuff. It's like we think that's not, we can put that under the microscope of mindfulness too. We can watch these reactivity, experience of the habitual, the automatic. And right there is, right there is the Buddhist underpinnings. And we can talk about it in a completely real way where everybody understands. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm trying to figure out because um, we do talk about it in using Buddhist language, I think, most of the time. That has been how my program ran for the past 2 years, or maybe that was the group that I was paired with. And I'm a Buddhist, so I understand it. But in our teachings, we came across some people who have never taken any courses and they find it too esoteric and scary and sort of
yeah.
kind of I don't want to touch that kind of way. So that's what I was. And I'm sorry to monopolize your time, but could I also ask one question? because the program is less structured, and you kind of can take the courses whenever you can.
Yep.
Do you utilize any group studies or pods in this program?
We don't formally, but many foundations groups stay together. I have a group from 4 years ago, and they meet once a month, and they guide practice, and they practice with each other, and they, yeah. So it really depends on the individuals and how they want to use those groups.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Naz. Yeah, Simona, and then Stephanie.
Hi, I have two questions actually. I'll ask them and then you'll see if you're able to answer both. The first one is regarding the initial 8-week MBSR. I know there are offered both through UMass, as well. That's how I got to you in the first place. I'm also in Canada, and there is a place in Canada that offers it. It's a Center for Mindfulness, I think it's called. It's in Vancouver. Apparently, the person is associated with.
Is it Cassim?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Yes, so I'm trying to decide about the 8-week one. I'm pretty confident that if I decide to pursue the teacher training, I will take it through this. But I'm trying to decide about the 8-week one because it looks like I have 3 options right now. Can you speak to how difficult, like if I take it through one of the other 2 options, how difficult would it be to transfer the credit, so to speak?
It's not a problem. We take anybody's MBSR class as long as they're 8 weeks and 2.5 hours and an all day.
Yeah.
You can take the standalone MBSR through anyone as long as it's live. It can be online, but yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And only other question I had was about the actual practice teaching, right? Like once you actually have to start teaching, I am a certified coach. I have my own practice in addition to my full-time job. So, when I started learning how to coach, I basically had to find my own clients, right?
Yeah.
Which I now have many. But about this, the teaching, the practice teaching, do you provide a class and then
No.
we just have, or we make
No.
our own class?
You make your own. You know, in the region or in the work or groups or
Yes.
whatever. Yeah, you're in charge of that.
That's perfect. Okay. And are there any rules like for coaching rules where you need to have certain hours that are free that people, like you do them pro bono, and then you can get paid for it, when you start off, and only like some of them count for ICF accreditation. Are there any rules around that?
We have rules about for the intro programs that at least there needs to be at least 6 people. I suggest that intro programs be free or donation. If you have to rent a space, then you could charge a nominal fee, but while you're in that early training period. And then when you start teaching, you should charge. It doesn't have to be the top of the limit, but the top of the line, but yeah.
Yeah. And they could be online, I'm assuming. Obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sandra.
Hey, just maybe some practical questions. So I've done the 8-week MBSR.
Great.
I've also done the workplace mindfulness facilitation for Mindful Leader program. I am signed up to do a 7-day retreat in March.
Great.
So I'm excited, and I know it meets your definitions. I've done other retreats, but I don't think they meet. They were much more strongly Buddhist as opposed to teacher guided.
That would be like where? Where did you take those retreats?
Through a Buddhist center here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we take retreats from IMS. It's usually yoga retreats that may not be covered, or retreats that aren't fully silent. Like
these are retreats that have more chanting than teaching.
Oh, yeah.
More rather than teaching. So I'm excited. Actually, I've done some retreats, but I'm going to do a 7-day silent retreat.
Good.
But it doesn't finish until the end of March, and I'm thinking, okay, application. If I wanted to start in the spring, that's in April. Tell a little bit about the application process, how long it takes.
It doesn't take that long. So I've got a pile of applications I need to look at for the spring. So thank you, Sandra, for reminding me. No, we try, and it starts the first week of April. So I'd get it in and just say, I'm attending this retreat at this time, so that'll be, so
Might
your
put it down
reviewer will
before
know.
actually finishing the retreat.
Yeah, yeah, definitely send it in before you go on the retreat, actually. We
Okay,
do, sometimes foundations do fill, so
Okay.
if there's a particular schedule that you need.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Fabio, and then Shanae, and then Stephanie. You can use your, I didn't say this earlier, if you can use your electronic hand, that just
Yeah.
helps me track.
Hello, everyone. I think you already answered to two of my questions, but I just want to have confirmation about silent retreat as a prerequisite. Is the Vipassana retreat valid?
The Goenka retreats,
Yes.
have you taken them before?
No, I'm gonna take it now. I'm gonna take
Okay.
it this year. Is the
They're how do I want to say this? They're often guided in a way, because they're not on our list. So there's been some concern about those retreats. So we do offer trauma-sensitive guidance in our program. And if you've taken those retreats before and you work with them, I'm not going to say absolutely not, but if this is your first retreat, it's quite strenuous. And where are you located, Fabio?
So I'm located in Germany, but actually I come from Italy.
Okay.
And yeah, and so I want to step into this path, and I'm here online mostly to go more deep inside, but to ask question about the prerequisites, because actually I read them and I think I have right now I have none of them. That means that I don't have a graduate degree. This is my other question. I don't have the 8-week program, and I don't have a silent retreat. And then my question are mostly, I would like to do the silent retreat and the 8-week retreat in person. I would like to do it here in Germany. And so if there is a list of qualified retreats that I can do maybe in Europe, it would be easier for me. And
Yeah.
the question about the graduate degree, if it's possible to attend the program without a graduate degree. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for raising this. So Fabio, what I would suggest is take the 8-week program
Yes.
first. Take that first. And then I would really caution you. How long have you been meditating? Do you have a practice?
Since 5 years.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
But every day, I mean, and then I go to Plum Village every year.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Good. So you've had some retreat experience, although Plum Village is not fully silent. So that's one of the
Yeah, that's why I asked about the
Yeah.
Vipassana. It's gonna be my first Vipassana retreat this year. Yeah.
So Fabio, there's a really wonderful meditation center in England, in the UK, called Gaia House, GAIA. And there's also one in France. On our website, let me pull this up because there's a good list we have there. Let me go here. So if you come actually to the first page here, 7-day retreat. So here are the retreat requirements. And here are all of these in the recent offerings. All of these are live links. So the Moulin de Chèvre, these are, oh, they're only in French. So I believe. So that is,
I think in Moulin de Chèvre, they do sometimes have English retreats. I can't remember the name of the founder, but I think he does sometimes do.
Martin Elward, I think it is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right, because he's English. Yeah.
Yes. So this is my dear friend Genevieve. It's great. I didn't know she was and here's Narayan Elward. Yeah. This looks like a lovely place. And then I understand your wish Fabio, to take an in-person retreat, and also you might consider online just because they're so much more accessible. There's also a long list here. There's no direct links, but here's Gaia House in Devon, England. I also think you could reach out. I think there's a place, Bob Stahl up here. He teaches often in Portugal. And he teaches in English. There's an Austrian one in person. So you just need to get in there, and here's the Portugal, it's a hybrid retreat, so in person and online. Here's a Germany retreat, Arbor seminar. This would be great. So there's some opportunities here. You just kind of have to get in there and dig around.
Okay, perfect. So these are all qualified.
Yes.
It's qualified retreats. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so I could do the 8-week in Europe and the silent retreat, and then about the other prerequisites about the graduate degree.
So this is not in the foundation's application. There is an equivalence document that narrates what we're looking for in a graduate degree, so that critical thinking and writing skills, the capacity that we want to see that you've been able to, it doesn't have to be about mindfulness, but that you've dedicated your learning and maybe your work life to a certain field, people who are nurses, massage therapists, people who've done community service, people who have like worked in their schools, in their kids' schools, and been like the PTA president or something like that. So community activities. I'm remembering somebody who came through, and she was an immigrant from India, and she was a major founder of the Indian American organization in her town. And she wrote about that. So, life experience that shows those skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Fabio. Sinead, please.
Hi. So I have already completed the foundations with in France with the ADM with Geneviève actually.
Great.
And yeah, she's great. But I'm thinking of that I'd like to continue in English. So to go deeper, it will be easier for me also to do it in English. So is it possible then to continue to do the TAI, etc. with Brown?
Yes, we recognize that first level. That's the only time you can transfer. So great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if I were to complete the rest of the training with you, would I then be recognized by ADM?
You'll
in
need to speak with
France?
Geneviève about that.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not sure, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Give her my best. Give
Okay.
her my love.
Will do.
I haven't seen
Will
her for
do.
a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks.
Good. Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you talk a little bit about the introductory classes that we can teach when we have completed the 8-week foundation?
Yeah, it's a 10-week course.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Foundations is a 10-week. You did take the 8-week program, and in that 10 weeks, the MBSR, the 8 weeks of MBSR is sort of embedded in that. Yeah, those range, what we suggest is from an hour and a half to 2 hours, and they're brief practices and they're engaged. So it's not like a lecture. And we really encourage you to create a program, and you get support for this. You get guidelines for these programs. Oftentimes people are offering them at their place of business or a professional organization. And they can be topics based on the MBSR curriculum. So resilience, perceptions, and then brief focused attention practice and a little bit of movement practices. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Sophie.
Hello. I hope you're not going to get too much background noise here. I have a couple of questions to certify as a yoga therapist. And I was wondering, I got a little bit confused about the cost for the different modules of like what is, and I signed up for the 8-week MBSR like first requirement, but what is the cost for like the teacher training for MBSR? Can you still hear me?
Yes. Yes, I'll show you. So I'm gonna go back. Can you hear me now, Sophie?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so back here, there's registration and cost, and these are the costs for each program, for each component. This does not include retreats. And this is, it's important to remember that after foundations and TAI, you're going to be teaching and you can charge for that. So that's supportive for that. So this is another reason why sometimes people don't go through in 3 years, because it's like it really is like a graduate degree. Does that help? It's right on the website. Just wanting you to notice where that is.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look at it again then. And then the second question I have is, obviously MBSR started in the medical field, right? And I'm curious how well the MBSR, like how much brand awareness does MBSR have within medical communities, and whether these trainings for stress reduction integrated into the medical system, like how well that is happening, and are those funded?
Well, Sophie, where are you located? And are you driving? This makes me nervous.
I know, right? I'm looking. So I am actually moving to Providence, Rhode Island. So I'll be right next to you, I think.
Yeah, it's not integrated here. We have a lot of practitioners, and it's not integrated in our health system. It's been offered at various hospitals here. It really depends on where you are, and funding is, yeah, it's very individual. So I can't really say, oh yeah, that's like across. I mean, our healthcare system in the U.S. is quite challenged right now. So it has been for, since before the pandemic. So it takes a lot of work for people to get this in, and it has really some amazing places where it is. I just spoke with 2 teachers can't remember where they're at now, but they've been teaching in a VA hospital for 5 years. So, and that's funded. So it really depends. Are you a physician?
No, I'm a scientist and I work in industry. So I actually work a lot with researchers. So
Yeah.
I'm familiar with all the work that's been done in sort of providing evidence for a lot of these practices. And I have the desire to move into the clinical side.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say anything more. I don't recommend people deciding to do MBSR and as their vocation. So most MBSR teachers it's an avocation. So they do it on the side. They're therapists, they're coaches, the way Simona was. I never thought I would be in the position I was in. It was always this side piece. So it's important to know that. And it doesn't mean that things won't morph and change, but that's where things are at now. Thank you. Maria.
Hello, thank you. I'm actually really new to this and to the MBSR program. I'm from Colombia, and I started to look at this because I was wondering which universities can have like some programs with health and mental health, and also related to coach and mindfulness. So my first, I was really interested in the 8-week program, but I go into the tuition and I don't see the price directly to the 8-week program. But then I click and it's like $650. So I wanted to confirm that's the price first. And second, I live in Colombia, and I work remotely. And I was thinking it would be a really good opportunity to take some weeks to work remotely from Brown is in New York, right?
It's in Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island. So I can, like, I don't know if you recommend to take some classes in person because I really love the in-person experiences. And it will be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, let
Uh,
me, Maria, I'm going to show you. This makes no sense. I just want to acknowledge that it's a little, when you come to the School of Professional Studies, if you look under executive education, here is where the discrete 8-week programs are. So here's mindfulness-based stress reduction. It's
yeah, I
500.
got into it. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it is. It's online is $599.
Okay. And in person, it's like,
$650.
do you recommend it to do it in
Oh,
person?
so let me say, yeah, I mean, I'm going to stop the share. So I used to work at UMass, which is where MBSR began, and we would have people come and drive 3 hours a week or move to Worcester, Massachusetts for 8 weeks to take the program in person because we weren't teaching online. You're welcome to do that. There's actually going to be a spring in-person class starting in April. So if you have the possibility to come from Columbia to Providence, you'd have to find housing. It's, there's a lot to do,
Yes.
but right now we don't have any of the teacher training, but this would be wonderful. I taught MBSR in person last summer for the first time in 5 years. It was fabulous. It's great.
Okay, amazing. And is it possible to have the option to have like a hybrid version, like some classes taken in person and some others
Don't.
online?
No, we don't.
Okay.
That's a really challenging experience. It's very
Okay,
hard.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So my last question is, the 10-week foundation program, that it says that you need to have the 8-week first.
That's
But
right.
can you do it at that time, or you need to finish the 8-week?
No, you finish the 8-week and then
Okay.
you have to take your
Perfect.
retreat.
Okay.
Yeah. But then when you take it as part of foundations, you're with the teacher who's your foundations teacher. So you're in that class with them. This is how Genevieve does it, right? Because we were all born in the same soup there of UMass. Yeah. So Maria, it's you've had the class, but it's actually quite different. You're different, the teacher's different. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a particular training that we call in vivo. So you're marinating in the experience.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Everything's clear.
It's great. And
Bye.
Rachel.
Thank you so much for all the information. My question is just regarding like the silent retreat because I signed up for the 8 weeks starting the end of March. I'm very excited. So my question is, I saw that in one of the silent retreat, it's offered I think March 21st or around that time. So it's before I took the start with the 8-week program. Do you recommend me actually take the silent retreat after taking that 8 weeks, or you think before that 8 week start is fine too?
Rachel, do you have a practice now?
You mean like the daily meditation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long are you meditating for?
Oh wow, 3 years, 3 plus.
But how much daily?
Oh, you mean in terms of the number of hours?
Yeah.
So I would say, well, if you include like Reiki, I
No,
think so.
just sitting meditation. How long are you
The
practicing?
sitting, so it's gonna be like an hour at least.
Okay. That you're welcome to if you feel comfortable with that. I caution people who have a 10-minute meditation practice that they're doing with an app and thinking that they're going to be
Yeah.
able to do a 5 or 3, even 3-day meditation retreat. That may not be so wise, but it sounds like you've been practicing for a while. So yeah, it's up to you.
So got it. So could I ask when is the next intake? for the teacher program. So like if I finish the 8 weeks, so that's gonna end the end of May, I think.
Yeah.
And then so the next in terms of the teacher, the next session, the next intakes for the teacher program is gonna start.
In the summer. So we offer it 4 times a year, each cycle.
Perfect.
But Rachel, I will just say, if you might hate it, you might get into MBSR and you might not like it, and then so just take your time and see how it feels. If you decide after, I just want to caution you, thinking like, oh, I'm going to take MBSR and then I'm going to go right into the foundations, and that may be fine, but it also yeah, you're just to see how it goes.
Got it. Understood. Thank you so much. My last question is, so this silent retreat that starts on March 21st is actually inside us. So that's
Yes,
the Dharma
great.
teaching, that one. Yeah.
Yes, great.
So that one is an online one. So online, it doesn't matter which format. So online one will definitely be fine.
Yep.
Sufficient.
It's with my dear friends, Aowen and Bob. You'll have a great time. Yeah.
Awesome. So basically before the summer starts, if I really like it, I'm sure I will. I'm gonna just submit the documentation, which is
Good.
like a registration of this and my 8 weeks all to you, and then get it started that way, right?
Yeah, you've got to get through your 8-week program before
Of
you
course.
apply your foundations. Please do not apply. We won't. Yeah, you've got to finish the prerequisites. So
Got it. And then so submit it to you after that. Got it.
yes.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rachel. Good to meet you. We have one more here. iPhone. Who's iPhone? You've got your hand raised. Don't know who you are. Maybe you're not there anymore. Any other questions? I don't think that person is able to. Yeah, Tony.
I have one more question. I'm sorry, Lynn.
Okay.
So I've completed the prerequisites. I did my MBSR training through UCSD Center for Mindfulness. And then I went on retreat, a Seven Oaks Retreat Center in Virginia,
Yeah.
like a million years ago. Okay. So they've since been bought by
I know,
Inside DC.
I know.
So is that going to be an issue? Like, I don't know if
No.
I have anything. I have my certificate from MBSR, but I don't know if I have anything
We
from
believe
them.
you, Tony.
Okay.
Just get the dates, the teachers.
Okay.
That's plenty.
Okay.
That's
I have the
totally
dates. I'll look for the teachers.
good. Good. Okay.
Can
Yeah.
I ask the question? I
Sure.
got some problem with my phone. So I attended the 8 weeks course before. After we complete the course, there is a discount for entering the teachers training. I wonder, do we still have that discount?
I don't know. I can't
Okay.
tell you that. I'm sorry. You'll have to reach out to executive education. When you get the slides, they'll be able to. I can't always keep up with all of the
Okay.
things that are being
Thanks.
offered. I'm sorry. Yeah. Bye, Naz. Anything else before we finish up? I want to be honoring of time.
Just a quick question,
Yeah.
if it's possible. And because since I already shared that I would like to take the 8-week program in person, and so I'm gonna find something now on that list maybe. But there is a bit of a confusion when I look online that there are so many courses online. So am I allowed? I mean, can I take a 8-week retreat with any mindfulness teacher that I find maybe here in my town where I live?
So Fabio, it's not an 8-week retreat. So I think they're confusing. So there's the retreat.
Not retreat. Yes, sorry, 8-week
class.
course.
Yeah, you can take it with anyone. Just make sure that it's actually MBSR, that there's 8 weeks. There's an all-day session. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's 2.5 hours. Let's make sure it fulfills that criteria. Yes, and there's actually, you've got some good teachers in there. Gunther Hadash is, I don't know if he's teaching, but Gunther is terrific. Yeah, if you want any, if you just do MBSR in in your town. Yeah, you might find somebody. Yeah, great. Okay, everyone. Anything else? We got 3 minutes. Don't want to cut anybody off if you've got a burning question. All right. I hope even those of you who didn't ask questions got some of your answers that you needed. Okay. Thank you all for your time and attention, and I hope to see some of you in the trainings. It's really good to
Thank you,
meet you.
Lynn.
Take good care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lynn. Bye.
Thank you, Sinead. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
You too. Pleasure.
Bye-bye. Bye, Fabio. Take good care. Fabio, there's a great teacher in, oh, he left, Italy. Oh, well.